Hi, everybody. I'm sitting at the Embassy of Lithuania with the ambassador. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, namaste.
So, now that we are talking about your country and we should be having you on the one of the cover stories in our upcoming anniversary special, why don't you tell our listeners about the experiences one can do when traveling to your country?
Yes, first of all, I think, even when I go from India, having spent time in India, I try to appreciate what really pleases a person. In Lithuania, we are a very green and very spacious country. That's, I think, an advantage uh, for someone coming from so densely populated country and the cities where you enjoy the space. So the size of Lithuania is something like Sri Lanka's, but we only have 3 million people living there. So you have space and you have greenery, you have wide and fast roads to drive, you have history. We are, an old country, from not as old as India, but still from 13th century. We have been on the map as a Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Sometime it was 15th century, we were the biggest country in Europe. And so we have a lot of historical heritage in terms of buildings, castles, churches. And then there is nature. In nature, we have at least 7,000 lakes, if not more,
Wow.
which are all natural lakes, because we are the southernmost part of the glaciers, which spread once from northern Europe. The glacier stopped at our territory and never progressed further south. So these lakes that we inherited from the time are all natural lakes, pristine, clean, not very warm though, but for an adventurous person and for any ordinary Lithuanian, it's a pleasure to plunge in almost at every spot you find. It's free. It's wonderfully refreshing. A lot of forests. There are a lot of green cover, and Lithuanians love to walk in the forest. So I always encourage the tourists who come. Well, of course, it's very nice to visit all those old Baroque and Gothic old towns and centers and architecture. Do venture outside, because the green cover and the forests that we are so proud of is such a relaxation that every busy person needs after hard work, after time, and it's intensive time in office. So of course, the rejuvenation in nature, whether you want it in a more wild environment or in a luxurious spa-like, resorts, is definitely there for you, including some very simple adventures which we enjoy, which is, for example, berry picking or mushroom picking, something that gives you the opportunity to try those, riches of our forests, fresh from with, plucked with your own hands.
Nice. You're wrapped with nature across your country.
Absolutely, we grow up. We always grow up very close to nature.
Wow. And when we talk about the similarities, why don't you share some light about do we have something similar between India and your country?
Definitely, yes. Despite the fact that we are a very small country and India is one of the biggest countries by territory and the biggest, most populous country in the world, we do have a lot of similarities. And one of probably the most mysterious similarity that I would like to check is that Lithuanian language is considered by scholars to be the closest sister language to Sanskrit. So there is definitely something from very deep primordial past which connects us. We are also the most recent, the latest country in Europe to adopt Christianity. So there is a lot of pre-Christian thinking and traces in our culture, which connects to to the Indian Vedic, way of worshiping gods, and names of gods are similar, and
Nice.
that also comes through that linguistic connection. And then, of course, there are always people which connected us, and we have just celebrated 400 years of arrival of the first Lithuanian in India, who came in 1625 to Goa. So it is this connection, and also the other connection that it's 130 years ago when the first Indian went to Lithuania, who was a Parsi priest from Bombay who came to our country. So together with India, we have decided to dedicate this year, which is a special year full of historical dates, to call it year of people-to-people connections
That is what we could see
between
here.
Lithuania and India. And here is the expression of one of the probably strongest people-to-people connections which we celebrate. It is because the very close friend of Mahatma Gandhi from his South African times, when he was not yet a Mahatma, Herman Kallenbach was from Lithuania. He was born and grew up in my country, and he was very instrumental in the years 1905 to 1914, where Gandhi was in fact becoming a Mahatma, when he had all his spiritual experiments and endeavors to build up satyagraha as a way of fighting the foreign domination. Kallenbach at that time was a well-to-do architect in South Africa who helped him not only by contributing his money, but also by sharing his thoughts and experiments, and sharing his life basically with Gandhi and other Indians at that time. So it's a connection which spanned for a decade, and then continued in a very intensive letter writing way. So to a Lithuanian, it's an important anchor to connect to India's fight for independence, which we in fact replicated many years later, because Lithuania, like other Baltic states, were inspired by the non-violent fight against Soviet Union. And I know we used it. We had some, people call it a singing revolution. All the three Baltic states have a very strong tradition of songs and singing. We took it as a weapon because we also felt that, like Gandhi was able, through non-cooperation and satyagraha, from the fight with the truth, we, using our songs, could also do the same. And our independence came in 1990, which was in fact a product of a non-violent Gandhian type
Nice.
of fight.
Nice, nice. So why don't you tell us which is your favorite food when you are going back to your country? Maybe just one word.
Well, we eat a lot of potatoes, and that's another thing which connects India and Lithuania. It's an imported product. We know that it came to India and to Europe from Latin America, but we have a lot of potato dishes which we eat. But my very, very first favorite is in fact something you eat with hot potatoes, and that's a cold pink soup, which is a beetroot and yogurt cold soup. But you have to eat it with hot boiled potatoes.
So for that, everybody has to travel to your country.
Yes, even though you can also make it here. I make it all the time in Delhi for my Indian friends, and I have not met anyone who didn't like it.
Wow, that's so nice.
And it resembles chukandar ka raita, which is existent in a few regions of India. So it's chukandar and dahi, which you mix, and
wow, you speak a lot of Hindi, it seems.
हाँ, मुझे हिंदी आती है, मैं
अरे
सब कुछ
वाह,
समझती हूँ, थोड़ा सा बात कर सकती हूँ.
if you want to speak to our listeners here in Hindi, what would you want to tell them? That's for you guys.
Well,
in Hindi.
क्या कहना, लिथुआनिया और इंडिया दोस्त है, और मेरा काम दोस्ती बढ़ाना है. तो मैं यहाँ सारे लोगों को बनाई भेज रही हूँ अभी, और हमारे रिश्ते बढ़ाना तैयार हूँ और बढ़ाना तैयार हूँ.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think it was really very insightful to know about the country, and you have so much of amazing potatoes and dahi ka raita which is waiting for you. So you know where you can plan for your vacations now. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Tasha.
Do check our upcoming issue, which will have more insights. And we wish you all the best. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste.